Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whoever you support, welcome back. And a big welcome to, look at it, YouTube royalty, the king of panel shows. Here he is, Dan Potts. How are we doing, sir? How are you finding the international break so far?
Mate, it's a lovely intro. Thanks, bruv. Great to be here. It's been too long, and I always say this, but I wish I could come on more regularly with some of the people that have helped me out, man. And you're definitely one of them, mate. And the international break, it sucks, bruv. I can't lie. I hate it with a passion. I don't enjoy it. I only watch England or enjoy watching England when it's a World Cup or a Euros. I have no interest in the Nations League. I have no interest in friendlies, and I have no interest in qualifiers. And I was speaking to my guy the other day on the way up to the Arsenal-West Ham game, and he said, why don't we just look at the rankings? And for the Euros or the World Cup, look at the top 15, let's say, or maybe even the top 20, and just let the guys that aren't in that top 20 qualify to join us. Because why are we playing Liechtenstein or bloody Moldova or Andorra or Faroe Islands? I've got zero interest in any of that. And if I'm honest with you, I don't think anyone has. Like, no one's tuning in to watch England versus the Faroe Islands, are they? They're not rushing home with a Domino's to get in front of the TV. Like, no one cares, do they? You know what I'm saying? So I don't like it. I dislike it.
I'm just not sure about the England game.
Yeah, exactly. I'd enjoy the Dominoes more than the England game. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, man. I've always been one of those who's all over the summer and love watching it in the pub and with everyone, but I can't get into it when it's mid-season, mate. I genuinely just normally do leave it for a holiday, a break, and a bit of chill out time for me. That's what I normally do.
Yeah. No, and listen, before we carry on, if one of my mods will be so kind, please put Dan's link in the chat. Next one, what the big 60 is the next one? Am I right? Or
60, mate? Yeah, we've gone 54 at the moment. So yeah, appreciate that. I'll just put it on my community post because I said I was going to do that and I haven't. So I'll do that as well to get my guys over here.
That's cool. That's cool. So listen, if you haven't, please subscribe to Dan. Listen, we know he's an Arsenal fan, but come on, his channel is anything but Arsenal, right? It's all clubs, race for Europe. Let's talk ball, which I'm on. He has some great panel shows and I'm rivaled in that market. So please get over there and support. Listen, the last thing I'll say on the international breaks, other than Italy, who I believe didn't qualify for, was it the last one or the one before? When did a big nation not qualify? Like when did you last see Spain and Germany and England and you go, oh my God, they're not in the World Cup or the Euro? When did they not? Anyone? Right. It's pointless, isn't it? It's a pointless exercise. Talking about pointless exercises, big up, Kate. Thank you. That was the bad segue there, Kate. Big up to you, Kate. Much love. Please subscribe. And Kate has put in the link here to Dan's channel, Football's 12th Man. Please get over there. Dan, banter. You lot always finish second. Banter. Got it out the way. Right. What's going on with Arsenal this year? You've spent a lot of money. You've got your striker. You've got top centre halves all over the place. You've got midfield reinforcements. Eze's come in for flair. Madueke's added more depth on the wings. Gyökeres is up front. You're winning the league, right? You are winning it, right?
Second again, LA, bruv. That's what it has been for the last 3 years. Look, I genuinely agree with everything you've just said. There should be no reason and no excuse as to why Arsenal can't win this league this season. I think we're the best squad. I think we look the most settled. I don't think there's a Liverpool or Manchester City that's looking firing on all cylinders. And in fact, I'll go on further. I don't think any team looks firing on all cylinders right now. I wouldn't even say that Arsenal do. When I look at the scenario of Liverpool winning the league, I thought it was a given, bruv. When I saw their summer transfer window, I thought everybody knew they were going to walk it, right? And I thought that they bought the most sought-after striker in Isak that everybody wanted at number one. They bought the most sought-after attacking midfielder in Wirtz that everybody wanted. I would say they probably replaced attributes that Trent and Robbo had with Gyökeres and Frimpong. And they also looked at, Ekitike, who was £90 million that can go and bag in some goals as well. And other than the latter, I think they've all pretty much flopped so far. Now, whether you can say they're going to flop throughout the season is another question. But certainly in the first 9 games, I haven't been impressed by what I've seen from Isak, Wirtz. I haven't been impressed by Gyökeres at all. I think defensively he's been horrific. And Frimpong can't defend, but I kind of knew that anyway because he's brilliant going forward, a bit like Trent was, right? I think what's happened with Liverpool is it's too many cooks, really. And I think they've tried to unsettle a settled championship winning side. Now, at the time, I didn't really think it was a bad thing getting rid of Diaz for Ekitike, and what happened with Jota, rest in peace, bringing in Isak on top of that is top quality, or replacing Darwin Nunez with Ekitike. And then you look at what they've done in their midfield by adding Florian Wirtz. I don't think anybody was going, whoa, calm down, too much. I think everybody was going, oh my God, Liverpool are going to win everything, right? And I was one of those.
Yeah.
I think
we're all sitting there going to Callum and Monts, aren't we? Going, you've got to win it. You've got to win it all. You've got to
go and win the treble.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So we're putting the pressure on them winning the treble. They just got to try and win 3 games in a row. And at the moment, they've lost all 3 games in a row. That to me is mad. And I never saw that coming. I've got to be honest. And when I look at Manchester City, I think we slept on them a little bit too quickly when they lost to you boys and Brighton. However, they definitely don't look the Man City of old that we know.
No.
But I tell you who looks better than I've ever seen, Haaland. I've got to be honest with you, bro. Haaland looks better than he did when they won the treble. I think he is that good at the moment. It's scary. And then you've got us, and we've got the squad. We've getting across the line. We've not been outstanding. We've lost 1 game to a set-piece Szoboszlai free kick, which was a worldie. And you can argue that perhaps we should have gone more attacking in the Liverpool and Manchester City games, but we've done the job in every single one of the others and put ourselves a point ahead at the top of the tree. My only question mark about Arsenal is Arteta. That is literally the only question mark I have, is the manager. Can he get us across the line? He's yet to. A lot of people tell me, yes, he will, Dan, just believe. But I've been trying to believe for 5 years that he'll get us across the line. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to see it. He is the only question mark I've got. It is no longer, do Arsenal have a good enough squad? Because the answer is yes. Do Arsenal have a good enough 11? The answer is yes. Do Arsenal have strength in depth on the bench to bring on? Yes. Do Arsenal have the mentality and the manager? I'm afraid I have a question mark over that. And we'll see this season. If Liverpool and Manchester City drop off and we can't capitalise, we need to look at it. And I'll finish on this. I don't know if this Arsenal team is better off going 8 points clear or better off being 2 points behind the whole way and chasing, because we've done both of those things and still not crossed the line for either of them, right? So people say chasing, evidence. Really better out in front. I've got evidence on both that we've crumbled at both those scenarios. So I just need Arsenal to take game by game and look at the scenario of last season. It's great beating Liverpool if you can do it, and it's great beating Manchester City if you can do it. We did both of those things last season. But what we didn't do over the last couple of years was go and beat Everton, go and beat Fulham, go and beat Palace, go and beat West Ham. And last season, we had West Ham, Fulham and Palace of last year. We lost to West Ham at home. We've now beaten them at the weekend. We got Fulham away next, and we drew 1-1 with them. And we drew to Palace at home 2-2 last season, and we got them after that. Those 2 draws from last season now need to be wins. And that's what changes you from taking draws to wins to win you a title.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly very interesting, isn't it? Because when you look at Arsenal, and obviously, you know me, I'm not one of these who just goes, oh, Arsenal are crap because I support Spurs. I find that whole notion very silly. I look at Arsenal in 2 ways, and you took the words out of my mouth. I look at Arsenal, the squad, and then I look at Arsenal, the manager. And for me, I do think you've got the best squad in the league. Now, that doesn't mean I think you've got the best player in every position, because Haaland is a beast, right? Rodri is, when fit, is a beast, yada, yada, yada. But depth-wise now, Dan, let's talk, before we talk about Arteta, I looked at your back 4 the other day, and then looked at the back 4 behind that back 4. And it was like, well, you can have White or Timber at right back, Mosquera, Gabriel, Saliba, and Hincapi as centre-halves, Calafiori and Lewis Skelly as left-backs. Your goalkeepers alone, like Raya and Kepa. Before I've even got to the midfield, the depth is frightening, isn't it, Dan? Like he's got zero excuse now. Like there can't be, well, we're up against a treble-winning City who play the best football in the country. You know, oh, we're up against a revitalised Liverpool. This has got to be it, right? There can't be another year after this if he doesn't get this over the line, can there?
No, absolutely not. This is the last season he gets for me. If he doesn't win anything this season, it is time to replace him. Because people might scream and shout at me, and they probably are now, the Arsenal fans listening. Oh, who are you going to get then? Well, we pay this guy £15 million a year, so anyone. Like the only 2 managers in world football that get paid more than this guy are Pep Guardiola and Diego Simeone. So if you want Simeone or Pep, then I can probably argue that, we might not get them because they're earning a hell of a lot more money than Arteta is. But everybody else is earning less than him. That means that Luis Enrique, Carlo Ancelotti Hansi Flick, Nagelsmann, or if you want to go in Premier League, Iriola or Glasner or whoever you want, they're all earning a hell of a lot less than Arsenal's manager Mikel Arteta. So they're not going to look at that and go, 15 million a year. I think I'll stay on the 8 million a year, thanks. They're going to go, yes, this is an unbelievable opportunity for a club. Like the club the size of Arsenal, with a squad that's been the best I've seen in Highbury, there's a lot of managers you can attract. Now, I hope we don't have to go down that road, Savva, because believe it or not, people might not believe me when I say this, but I want Mikel Arteta to win the quadruple, right? I'm not one of these guys who says, get rid of him quick. Hopefully we lose his 5 or 6 and we can get rid of him. And there are maybe Arsenal fans that want that. I don't know, but I'm not one of those. I want Arsenal. I think he's done a great job to get us there. I don't know if he can get us there. And that's my only question mark now. He's proven he can get us competing. He's proven he can take us to deep stages of competitions. And it's fine competing and going to the deep stages of the competitions if you win one of them. If you don't win any of them, then you just end up again a season without a trophy. And then you start getting compared to you guys. Oh, well, Tottenham had a better year. Palace had a better year. Newcastle had a better year. When really they didn't play better football than us, but they probably had a more successful year because they ended up doing that. And we didn't. So we could now have to go in May and go, well, we did well. We were better than all of them. It doesn't really matter because they're doing that in our face. So what I want to do is that in everyone's face. And it gets to March, I want to win that Carabao Cup. When it gets to May, I want to lift another trophy. And I think people have been very misunderstood by me when I've said this, but I'll say it again. If he wins something, I will keep him for another year. I don't care if it's a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup. People say that's not big enough. Fine. And I'll have that debate. And I'm not calling you delusional if you think if he only wins the Carabao Cup, he's got to get out of there. All I want him to do is show that he can win something with his side that he's put together, that he spent a hell of a lot of money on, by the way, and that he can install winning mentality to go and do it again. And I've got to give him that chance if he wins something to go and do it again. If he doesn't win anything, I don't know anyone that says he's got to stay because it really is now last resort. He's got everything he needs. You've just mentioned it there. That squad, we could put our B team, Savva, and I bet some of it would get into the Spurs side. So when you look at it now, you know, that is a very, very good squad. And Liverpool and Manchester City might have a better, more world-class players in their 11 than us. So a Haaland, a Rodri, a Foden example. Then you look at Liverpool with Isak and Salah and Alisson and Van Dijk. But where Arsenal look at their squad, I've looked now at playing Manchester City and Liverpool already in the first 6 games, and I looked at the bench of Man City and Liverpool and the bench of Arsenal, and it was astounding at how much better our bench was than both of those. And that's Liverpool and City, by the way, the best 2, in my opinion, that we're going to be coming up against. That's not the Chelsea's, Tottenham's, Bournemouth, Palace benches. That's the Liverpool and Man City bench, and Arsenal's is better. So I'm sorry, Mikel's got no excuses this time. He's got to get it across the line, or at least something across the line.
So let's look at it from this point of view then. So what is the hold-up? Now, I hear a lot, obviously, being on panel shows and watching YouTube religiously. The word handbrake seems to be a word that's often applied to Mikel Arteta. And when I look at you guys, you've got the best squad. You've got the best defence by a mile, by the way. You're the best organised in terms of defensively. But those other clubs, for me, look a bit more free-flowing when they're going forward. Now, I'm not saying there's a right or wrong, but is there an argument to say, well, the reason you got such a good defence is because you're not what City do, or you're not what Liverpool do? Or is the argument, well, hang on, we are so good at the back that we can take the handbrake off a little bit? And the biggest example of this has to be, so I just kicked my pug in the face.
That's all right, mate.
Sorry, mate. He's just looked at me to say, what did I do?
What
Sorry,
was that
mate.
for?
I know. I've just like swiped my feet. The biggest example of this has got to be the Man City game at the Emirates, right? Where people are going, well, hang on. This is Man City away. Then it's not the tiki-taka Man City. This isn't the domination Man City. Why did we not go all out and go for it? Am I onto the right lines there? Is this the conversation as to why you don't rate Arteta or not putting him there yet?
Yeah, I think so. I called him, and look, I go over the top sometimes, and I think we all do. We're quite reactionary, aren't we? And we drew the game to Manchester City, and I said he was a wimp because I felt that he had no balls, basically, and he didn't go for it. And I think Manchester City were there for the taking. I've never seen a Manchester City camp up in their defensive area against the side. And that, for me, was a negative, but he took it as a positive. Like, look at what we're making them do. Yeah, but you're not going to win. Like, what's the point of this? They can just sit there at 0-0 all game. You've got to go into the juggler and go and give it a go. And I don't think he did that against Liverpool or Manchester City for me. And this was at a time where Liverpool, Manchester City looked vulnerable. There was no Liverpool fan that was saying to me, we're going to win 3-0 here. This is going to be easy. And there was no Manchester City fan that thought they're going to win, let alone take anything from the game. So I think I think when you look at what Manchester City and Liverpool's performance was, it was rather frustrating. And I think, look, I've got nothing wrong, Savva, with putting men behind the ball. I don't actually mind that. People think I do. I don't actually mind that. Some people go mad about it. Oh, I'll put behind the ball. I don't mind that because Jose Mourinho, Conte, and Simeone have won titles doing that, right? George Graham did. When I was growing up, bruv, I knew you were growing up. George Graham used to do it and win everything. It was
1-0 to the Arsenal.
1-0 to the Arsenal, right?
I was growing up. 1-0 to the Arsenal.
Exactly. Yeah. When we were growing up, I was spoilt and you were sat in there pulling your hair out because it was obviously 1-0 to the Arsenal, right? So
nothing's changed for me, mate. Nothing's changed for me. Don't worry about that. Just a nice big stadium, but we'll get to that.
Fair play. I've got nothing wrong with playing that style of football if you're winning. When you play that style of football and you're not winning, you do turn into a bit of a David Moyes or a Sam Allardyce, which is why he's been pointed towards the Stoke FC and the Tony Pulis stuff, which, of course, is over the top. However, you can understand why people do that and they banter us because we're trying to win games 1-0 and we're losing them or drawing them. That is not the way that you do it. So I think what needs to happen is he needs to pick a style of football that he believes is going to be our identity. And he's done about 4 of them. Now, when he walked into Arsenal, he was playing 3 at the back and Kieran Tierney and David Luiz were lumping it long to Aubameyang and it got us an FA Cup. And I thought, do you know what? Back then, fair play, because we ain't got the quality to go and play Pep Guardiola football. So I'm okay with that. The season after that, we started to play a little bit of football and it went wrong. The only thing that saved us, funnily enough, was our academy. Other than Martinelli, who was a youngster, we had Saka and Smith Rowe that came on the scene and gave us a fight for top 4. And you guys under Conte nicked it from us, right?
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, well, at least he's trying to play football. And then the season after that, I'm thinking, right, now let's try to get into this top 4 again because we're not good enough, in my opinion. Jesus and Zinchenko are good signings. We've got Saliba back. Wow, we're 8 points clear. We're in a title race. Who saw that coming? That style of football is the best I've seen under Mikel Arteta. And I think everybody, including yourselves, were looking at it going, oh, shit, I don't want to say this.
Yeah.
But this ain't looking good.
Fan, I remember watching you that year going, oh, they're good. I don't like it, but they're good. And then the next year it was like, what happened? You just went chalk and cheese.
And it was. And I think when I look at that and we went 8 points clear, I thought we were in a top 4 race and we ended up in a title race. And I think the squad was never ready to be in a title race. However, it found itself in one. And then, of course, we get told we're bottling it and all this kind of stuff, which, 8 points clear, you kind of are really. And then he changed completely the season after. Now, a lot of people say that we were better the season after. The season we lost by a point to Man City. I disagree. I think the football was better in 22-23. But I think the season and more of a chance of winning the title was more in 23-24. We lost it by losing to Villa. But I'll say this. I do not understand what happened when he went 8 points clear and lost it. But he completely got his notepad and went, scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. I'm done with that. Let's now go resolute and compact. And since then, he's literally been the 1-0 to the Arsenal triumph style. And he hasn't shook that out. I've not seen many where it's been 22-23. Now, he went on that run, didn't he, in the January of 24. And he kind of beat everybody other than we drew the City and we lost to Villa, we lost the league. And we were playing unbelievable, Savva. It was 6-0, 5-0, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0. And I remember LB, who was going for the title at the time, going, I just don't know how you're going to not win the league, mate. You're winning by 5s and 4s and 6s.
Yeah.
And then we were unbelievable and it still weren't enough. And then last season was a shambles, bruv. The way we were playing, it was resolute. He was stubborn. He wasn't interested in anything but set piece FC. Keep the ball, possession based, sideways, backwards. Oh, we've got a corner. Now everyone get up there. Oh, we're 1-0 up. That, to me, is fine in certain games. At 63 minutes, change it and go for it. Don't play that 0-90. And when we had injuries on top of that and decisions that went against us, we found ourselves never really in a title race. Yeah. And I think this season, that's why people have looked and said, oh, please don't play like that again. Because we have done. Really, we have done. Then he took the handbrake off against Forest and he has done against West Ham. And I'm hoping that continues now because I can't be playing that sort of football going for a title race, mate.
But you've got the players to play that expansive brand of football. So I wanted to bring up, I did this yesterday I had Kaz on. And I'm guessing it was more interesting when I pulled up the Man U 11 with Kaz because there's no right or wrong at Man U at the moment because it's a bit of a shambles. I'm guessing with yours, I'm guessing I've got it pretty spot on, but I'm sure there'll be a few positions you want to change. By the way, guys and girls, please smash that like button. As I said, we're here in International Week giving you content. For YouTubers, this is our worst 2 weeks is the International Week. We're here, we're giving you content, so please do smash that like button. If anyone would like to buy me a coffee, the option's there. Please subscribe to Dan. Please subscribe to me as well as we chase down 24,000 subscribers. This is just loosely, and I'm sure we can change the tactics, we can change the players. This is loosely what I see your best 11 being. I'm going to remove Raya off the screen just so I can get them all in.
Sure.
Because I'm guessing Raya is the undisputed number one.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, that's what I look at Arsenal and go, this is what I think he thinks his best 11 is. Now, I'm asking you, obviously, there's players not there. There's no Madueke there. There's no Mikel Merino. There's no Havertz. There's no Eze. Lewis Skelly. Is this your best 11 and the best formation that you can play? Talk to me about your 11.
So that's an 11 that I think Arteta likes. And I don't mind this 11 against certain teams. If we're coming up against the Liverpool, or maybe we're coming up against the Man City, maybe we even go to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I expect it to be similar to what this is. But Eze needs to be playing. And Eze needs to be starting.
Where? So let me do it. Where am I putting Eze in this team?
So if we were going up against a Brentford at home, a Wolves at home, no disrespect to those two clubs because I like them both. However, I'd expect to be beating them at the Emirates. I'd be dropping Zubimendi and I'd be putting Eze and Odegaard either side of Rice in the kind of attacking eights. So you'd have Rice in that kind of holding role. So sorry, now you're going to have to change the bloody...
No. So we're more going Rice like that, and then we're going... and then this will be...
Right, and then that'll be Eze. Yeah.
Eze. Okay.
So that for me is what I would like to see more against the tight sides that we are favourites against at home. I don't mind if he doesn't do it away at Brighton or away at, maybe even away at Wolves or Brentford. But at the Emirates, I think that's our best 11 right now. And I know that's harsh on Zubimendi because he has been good, but I don't think you need Rice and Zubimendi to be holding your midfield together against those sides. I don't mind doing it against, top six sides, Savva. It's not a problem. Go with what you've just said, because I don't like Eze on the left. I don't. I think he can play there and do a job there, but I don't think that he is the guy that we need every week on the left. Some would argue he's better than Martinelli, but in the last 4 games, he's got 4 goals and assists, Martinelli, from the left. So you've got to look at form. Right now, I think if I'm picking my favourite side, it is that. I do love Lewis Skelly, and I've never really been sure on Calafiori. However, the last few games, Calafiori's been really good for Arsenal. So I have to say that probably is our best 11 right now.
So this is the interesting thing for me is when I saw you, let's try and say this without being bitter, when you snatched Eze from under our mitts. My one thing, what I thought, listen, Dan, I hope you know by now, I've got the ability to remove my Tottenham hat when looking at
100%.
I feel it's really important to. The first thing I thought about was, is Eze going to be a starter? Like, is he going to be the main man week in, week out? Because we knew at Spurs, that man starts rain or shine, right? He's going to start for us with the options we got. He hasn't been... It's been hit and miss at the moment, whether he starts games for you at the moment. And it has been more, if we go back to, it has been more the 4-2-3-1, if you like. And that has been a Zubimendi.
Yeah.
Do you think is that because this is a bedding in period? Could he go there? Is this a bedding in period? Is this now a case of, have you guys got too many chefs in the kitchen? Are there too many cooks? Or is this a nice problem to have? What's going on?
Yeah, I think there's too many cooks, but I don't think it's spoilt the broth yet, if that makes sense. Whereas I think with Liverpool, I think there is too many cooks and it is spoiling the broth. I'll be really brutally honest with you. This is a compliment and it's not going to sound like one. This is basically Andrea Berta.
Don't ever do that in a nightclub, by the way. Never go up to a girl and say, by the way,
all sorts of trouble.
But it's not going to sound like that, love. All right, don't do that.
All sorts of problems that'll get you in. I think Andrea Berta is the one to compliment, and Arteta is working it out. Now, what I mean by that is Zubimendi is a Mikel Arteta signing. We signed him before Andrea Berta even walked in the door, right? I don't think Eze is an Arteta signing. I think Arteta wanted Nico Williams. And I've got to be honest with you, we'll come on to him, I'm sure. Gyökeres, I think, is an Andrea Berta signing because Arteta wanted Sesko, right? And I think that Gyökeres is clearly starting at the moment because we don't have Havertz or Jesus fit. And it'll be very, very interesting to see who starts if Havertz comes back. However, Eza, I saw him twice on the left, and Arteta was losing his mind with him on the touchline. Like,
For
why are you
for
going in the middle?
reason?
Why are you
What
going
was
in
he
the
not
middle?
doing?
Yeah, why are you going in the middle? Stick to the touchline. Why do you keep drifting inside? Well, you know he's going to drift inside. If it's like this guy's never
He's
watched
like
him.
trying to come in this area here.
Yeah, he's trying to get in there, right? Which is where we want him, where fans wanted him to be, right? So now I think what he's decided very quickly against Newcastle and West Ham in the last 2 games is I'm going to put him in the middle and I'm going to use Trossard or Martinelli on the left. And I think that's what he's now going to do, Savva. And I think he's now going to bring in Eza to the middle and Martinelli or Trossard on the left. Now, I think for me, Odegaard this season has had 3 injuries already. Yes. And that has allowed him the chance to go, well, Eza, you can come into the middle. For the first time, we saw Odegaard and Eza together against West Ham. And I thought, excellent. And then Odegaard got injured. And we brought on Zubamendi, and it was Zubamendi, Rice, and Eza again.
Isn't that 3 games in a row he's been subbed off in the
3 home games? 3 home games in a row.
Wow.
So he got a knee. I made everyone laugh last night. I said he's playing head, shoulders, knees and toes because he's literally got everything injured, mate. He's got a shoulder injury in one game, another shoulder injury in another, and now a knee injury. And it's done. Unfortunately, he's going to be out for about 6 to 8 weeks. He's done medial ligament damage, which is not good for Odegaard.
Yeah.
So he's going to be out for a while. So it will give Eza a chance in the middle. This trio here is what you're going to see now for Arsenal for the next couple of months, which is Zubamendi and Rice.
Is that how long he's out for? Is it Odegaard?
Yeah, I think it's 6 to 8 months. 6 to 8 weeks. They've said so. That's going to be a hell of a miss because he's so good against Olympiacos. It's a shame.
So this is so I want to talk to you about Odegaard in a second, and by the way, we're going to talk Arsenal for another 5-10, and then we're going to ask Dan his feelings on other Spurs. We'll ask him on Spurs, and then we'll ask him on some other football clubs. A wonderful opportunity for Eze then if Odegaard is missing, and it kind of coincides with, I believe, that Havertz is back.
Yeah, he's going to be back soon, very shortly. Yeah.
What do you make of Odegaard? Because whenever I've listened, obviously I watch League Gunner and I watch Northside, and I watch you, I watch all you lads. Odegaard over the years seems to have been a real prickly subject in the Arsenal fan base, where I think you've got a lot of people that are very underwhelmed and a lot of people that are like, God, what's a top player? That's my captain. Where are you on the Odegaard debate of things? In the chat, let us know. What do you think, whether you're Arsenal or not? What do you make of Odegaard as a player and his output?
I flip-flopped a lot with this, if I'm honest, because I can only go by the proof and what he's doing and how he's delivering on the pitch. We signed him on loan, and I thought, he looks all right. I didn't go, wow. I said, he's got a nice pass on him, and that was about as far as it went. And then when I heard we were going to be signing him, I actually wanted James Madison, funny enough. And I looked at James Madison and Odegaard's output, and I looked at them both and I thought, well, in terms of technical ability and weight of pass, Odegaard leaves James Madison dead in the water. But in terms of goals and assists, James Madison leaves Odegaard dead in the water. So that's what I needed or wanted in my team, right? So I wanted Madison, and everyone started laughing, of course, because he gets injured every week now. So, but at the time, I thought Madison would have been perfect for us, right? So I wanted Madison. When we had Odegaard, he absolutely put me in the mud, bruv. 15 goals, unbelievable assists, captain, led us forward to a title challenge. And I went, oh, okay, fair play. I'll take Odegaard then. James Madison can go to Tottenham and stay there. And I was all for it. I thought I like players who prove you wrong, Savva. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
I'm not sure about him. Oh my God, I was wrong. I love that. Yeah. And he did that with me.
Not the YouTube thing of you're in the mud.
Yeah, you're now in the mud.
You change your opinion on a footballer. Yeah.
Shut your channel down. You were wrong. Type attitude.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with me and Odegaard, right? So then he went through a season last year, which was poor to say the least. Yeah. Injury, couldn't shake it off. He started off similar to that, where he's had injuries and can't shake it off. And I'm now starting to look towards Eze and think maybe it's your time to prove that you can get into this side then now, because this guy at the moment isn't reliable enough. That's where I'm at with Odegaard. There's clearly talent there. I mean, I don't think anyone could look at Odegaard and go, Christ, he can't pass a ball. He was unbelievable against Olympiacos the other night. He was by far our best player. And I thought, go on then, let's now see what you're about. And he's got injured again. So that's where I'm at with Odegaard. Good player, needs to start delivering more consistently. On the captaincy thing, very quickly, he's not a captain for me. He's a good player. He's a leader in terms of role model on the pitch. Look at me, I'm great. This is what you want to be. But I want someone barking orders and pointing fingers and grabbing people by the scruff of the neck like Gabriel and Declan Rice do. They're my captains of old school. And I'm old school, Savva. If I was a football fan of 2010 onwards, I'd probably look at Odegaard and go, oh, wonderful. What is beautiful.
Yeah.
But because I grew up in Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira days, I believe they should be the role models of our captain. And I think that's Gabriel and Rice.
Do you know what? When you signed Rice, the first thing I said was, well, listen, football fans did their usual, 100 million. Thought, listen, you're getting this guy at a great age, experienced at that young age as well. He's a captain. And I thought to myself, that has got Arsenal captain for years written all over it. That, for me, that's your captain. For me, I look at Declan Rice. I think he is the example on the pitch. I think he is the consummate professional. I haven't seen anything off the pitch, which worries me about him as a pro either. And I think he's one of those, I know what he's going to give me every game. That for me makes sense as captain. I don't know as much about Gabriel, but I feel like that should be the Arsenal captain.
Well, Gabriel's your old school Keown Vieira type that's going to grab hold of Haaland and tell him that he's a small man, not a big man. You know, he's going to get in people's faces and all that. Yeah. And fans love that. Whether that's a captain or not for the squad, he definitely is a captain where fans are concerned. Declan Rice 100% is. I think if we had a vote in the fan base, Rice would win as the captain, right? Like you just said. But Mikel Arteta doesn't want that, and I'll tell you why. Odegaard is the captain because I think he sees a lot of himself in him when he was a player. Okay. In terms of his respect in the dressing room. They have a vote, like a names in the hat, and everybody votes for Odegaard. That's how they pick the captain. I didn't realise that. I think that's a bit weird. However, that is what they do. And
that seems a bit friend and chummy rather than. How many would have voted for Keane, but he still would have had it?
100%, bro. 100%. Nobody would have voted for Keane. No, I'll get this guy off my buddy back. I'll have Gary Neville, please, or David Beckham. But he's the captain that they need, but they don't know they need. They don't know they need him. They don't know they need him. And I think Gabriel and Rice probably fall into that category. And the reason I know that is because our vice captain is who? Do you know who our vice captain is?
No, go on.
Bukayo Saka. So he wants to go with the you're loved, you're the one everyone loves, you're the pink and fluffy one everyone goes to. Rather than the tough don't mess with him guy. And I've got to be honest, I don't even know if that's an Arsenal thing. I think it might be a 2025 football thing because I look at the captains around now, and I don't think I would have told you years ago who the captains were. I would have known that it was Gerrard. I would have known that it was Keane. I would have known that it was Vieira. I know that it was Vincent Kompany. I look now and I don't think I could name the top six captains, really. I'd have to really look at it and delve deeper. Oh, was it him? I didn't realise. Because they're all so, he's the best. But I don't even know the top.
All these leadership groups. You know what I mean?
Yeah, leadership group. They've got 5 captains and all this. What the hell is that about?
Yeah, last week on the Spurs official website, it came out and it was like, Thomas Frank has picked his leadership team. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, we know Romero's captain. You didn't need to tell me that all the senior pros that are behind him are the leadership team. Like, surely a leadership team is a seen but not heard type thing, right? Like, you just know. Like, and then you get people going, why is Ben Davies in there? And you're like, well, Ben Davies is a senior pro within the football club. It's not that, oh my God, Ben Davies is an utterly brilliant footballer, but I find it all a bit mad now. I find the whole role of a captain seems to have changed massively. I want what you want. I want a bollocker.
Romero's not a bad shout though, right? Romero's pretty good shout, I would say. Looking in.
This season's Romero is the Romero that switched on and committed to Tottenham. Now he signed a new contract, yes. But the Romero that was talking badly about us in the press, never fit for Spurs when Argentina were about to have a game. No. But this year, it looks like he's had the arm around him from Frank, and we'll get to Frank in a minute. He is definitely the obvious choice for captain because I look at the rest of the team and I don't see a leader. But then again, Dan, I don't look at many teams and see leaders. I don't look at many football clubs and go, cool, you're a captain. Henderson, magnificent captain.
Yeah.
But forget what you thought about him at Liverpool as a player. First name on the team sheet, that's my captain. He's the one going up to players with better ability than him and going, what is going on?
Yeah, 100%.
Why didn't you track back? You know, That's what you need. So,
But they weren't always necessarily the best players. Roy Keane wasn't the best player at Man United, but he was the best captain.
no.
I mean, he even admitted that. You know, when he does debates and Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard, Keane, he's like, well, I'm last. They're all better than me. And but up there they weren't. They weren't with the armband on. Don't get me wrong, they were good captains as well, within their good leaders within their own, but they were never anything like Roy Keane's the best Premier League captain in history, in my opinion. And I loved Vieira and Adams, but they weren't as good as Roy Keane. Roy Keane was ridiculous, mate, in terms of the leader and captain. He's the best by far, right? And I don't think you get many like that anymore. Like even Jordan Henderson, as much as he was unbelievable captain, I don't put him in the bracket of a Roy Keane or
no.
Still, you know, John Terry, another one, you know. And I think really like Man City, I don't even know who their captain is. Do you? Who is their captain? I ain't got a clue. I wouldn't even know.
Isn't the Man City captain Bernardo Silva?
It is. Well done. It is Bernardo Silva. Well done. You're right. Silva? I mean, would you? Yeah, it is. Would you think that is a leader? I just don't get that. I just find that he's a great player. But
he's a 2025 leader. He's the leader by proxy. He's the leader by tenure, ability, carries himself longevity, very well.
Yeah.
Probably trains brilliantly, probably eats cleanly. You know, like he's all of that. But if I was to look at Man City, again, where's your leader type? Where's your...
I mean, Diaz, is that it? I don't know. I wouldn't know. Rodri, Rodri, Diaz. I don't know. I
genuinely don't know.
I think and this is what I keep saying to people when, and I don't normally do this because there's a lot of Arsenal fans that do it enough. So I just stand back with it, right? But there's a lot of people that look at it with Arsenal, Arsenal, this, Arsenal. But actually, sometimes you look in the mirror and think, I'm taking the piss out of them, but actually that happens at my club as well. So I'm just going to keep quiet. And that's what happens. Like we've got a section of the fan base which are absolutely deluded. But I tell you, Spurs have as well, because I've met a few of them, right? So when people say it's all Arsenal, Tottenham have that as well. Manchester City, we've just said, probably have that as well. Is Bernardo Silva a leader like Odegaard? Maybe not, but he's beautiful to watch. Like it does happen elsewhere. So, but you're right in the captaincy thing. I think it's changed completely.
Just quickly, John, I think you're trying to call Dan out. I think what you mean to say is that Dan can live in the misery that he badly craves. Misery or mystery, because that changes the sentence. But John, thank you. I really appreciate that. And Dan does too. That's a lovely sentence. Dan, you deserve to live in mystery or misery. I'm not sure. John, confirm.
I don't know if he's trying to be complimentary or if he's trying to say, I don't know if he's trying to say, I wish Arteta would leave so that you can live it. I think he's trying to have a bit of a dig, but I don't know.
Oh, love it. I just thought that was funny. Big up Jim, Kate and Jimbo from The Perfect Match. Please subscribe to their channel. Jimbo, though, by the way, got to say, is the most positive human being in the world. Like he is. Tottenham are winning the quad. Can't tell me otherwise. Declan Rice, world class. Last thing we're going to talk about of Arsenal. Declan Rice, is he world class? Chat, join in. Dan, where are you at with this one? Is he world class?
I'll give you the same answer I always reply to anyone who asks me this question, whether it's Saka, whether it's Saliba, whether it's Rice. If you can define, or if anyone can define what world class means, I'll tell you if I think Declan Rice is in that bracket. And no one can. No one can tell me what world class. There's not been one definition for it. Someone says, well, it means he can get into every team in the world, or it means he can be in the top 3 in his position in the world. It's the top 5 in his world. No, it means he'll make every team better. No, it means he'll get into a world 11. No one has a clue what it means, Savva. So when people say, is he world class? Give me the definition in the chat. Somebody give me the definition, and I will say whether I think that hits Declan Rice or not. I think for me, my definition is that you can do it on the world stage, and you can make any team you walk into better. And I think we have a couple of those that are on the brink of that. And I think Declan Rice is one of them, along with Bukayo Saka and William Saliba. They're the only 3 that I'd put forward. So, yeah, I would put them forward to say. But I think we're all so quick to want to tell everyone they're world class. I actually feel personally like that all of our team are so young to be world class yet. I mean, Saka's 24, Declan Rice is 25, I think, or 26. You've got Saliba, who's 24, and they're the 3 people talk about. I think they're the 3 that are the closest to world class. Whether they're there or not yet, I'm not sure. Saka goes to the Bernabeu, puts in a world class performance, scores us the goal, we win 5-1. Does that mean he's world class? Maybe. He's doing it on a world stage. He's delivering every season. But then again, people will say that he's not world class. Was Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi world class? No, they weren't. They were the best in the world. Well, what's the difference between best in the world and world class? I don't know. I don't know the definition yet. So if someone wants to give me the definition of world class, I'll do it. Because if it gets into a world 11, then Harry Kane isn't world class, because he won't get into a world 11, because it'll be Haaland that gets up front. But then people will say, no, Harry Kane's class. Now it has to be the top 3. No, it doesn't. Now it has to be the top 5. I don't know what world class is. And that's why I always struggle with this question.
It's in the, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, that kind of thing, right? For me, for what it's worth, and my definition of world class, I think Declan Rice for me falls into the bracket below. For me, I think Declan Rice falls into that bracket of top footballer, probably plays for most teams. He's a manager's dream, I would expect. I guess as a manager, you can go, right, I need Declan in the 6 today. I need him in the 8 today. I need him as the leader today. I'm guessing he's got a good set piece, good pass for the ball, good tackle, good engine. But is he world class? Well, that's where I put Rodri. Do you know what I mean?
That's a great way to look at it. For me, that's how I look at it.
Level. That's where I put the Modric's, right? So look, at the end of the day, people lose their mind, don't they? Have you noticed whenever you have a world class conversation, if you don't think someone's world class, that someone
they lose their head. Yeah.
What do you? I've had this with Son for a decade. I've always said Son is that bracket below for me. What do you mean? Well, sorry, I don't put him up there with Gareth Bale.
He ain't Gareth Bale. No, exactly. I'm with you, bro. Yeah.
So it is what it is. Last thing before we move on,
though, does it? Let's be real.
No.
We're not. It makes out. It's like when people do the Messi or Ronaldo, and you go, "I prefer Messi," and everyone loses their minds. Go, "You think Ronaldo's crap?" No, I don't. I didn't say that, did I? You know what I mean? Like, it's mad.
Isn't it brilliant? I love this. We had this the other day, right? So Erling Haaland's, I was doing a watch along for Brentford, Man City. And Erling, because apparently on that day I was a Man City fan. Today, apparently I'm an Arsenal fan. You know how it works. And I said, God, this boy's a beast. The moment Haaland scored, I said, what a beast. I said, this guy is unbelievable. Straight away, Spurs fans, he's not Harry Kane. And you're like, oh my God. Like the insecurity of people, it scares me. The insecurity. Yeah, Harry Kane is class as well. I'm not saying he isn't, right? But depending on what you want from your striker, depending on what we're judging this by, depending on yada, 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 depends on who I want in my team. But when we're saying Harry Kane is better than Haaland, first and foremost, right, I don't think he is, right? Because I think Harry Kane is 7 years older and Erling Haaland's goals to game ratio pisses all over Harry Kane's. But that's only me. I don't know why that would upset. If you thought the opposite, Dan, I don't know why it would upset you. Do you know what I mean?
Well, Haaland is clearly the best striker in the world. Why? Because he's the best goal scorer, and that's what a striker's supposed to do. If you said to me who can do the most keepy uppies, I probably ain't going to ask Haaland, right? But or who can take it round everyone? Fair play, but. Let's be real. Like the Rodri and Rice situation is perfect for me. That is what I was trying to say earlier. Like Rice is brilliant, and I'm not shitting on my boy. I love him. However, he ain't Rodri, right? So I think when you look at it, that's where you can go to, and I think you can do that with Tottenham players like Son and Kane. They were unbelievable. Clearly, probably in an all-time 11, they probably walk into Tottenham's all-time 11, both of them, right? But I don't think they're going to get into the levels of some of the others that we discussed. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, look, and I just think people get so frustrated by it, and it's always made me laugh. I think you used the right example. I said yesterday, the Messi-Ronaldo debate for me, sure, have your favourite. You don't have to, but, have your favourite. But what those people do, I think they call them stands, don't they? The Messi stands and the Ronaldo fans. They couldn't turn around and go, yeah, I prefer Messi. What they do is they go, I prefer Messi. Oh, Ronaldo is shit at this. Well, why to praise that guy if you've got to absolutely hammer this guy? Like,
it's ridiculous.
Look, for me, in the last 20 years, those two have been so far above everyone else that I just go, yeah, they're undisputed. Who do I prefer? Look, I prefer this guy. Right? I prefer this guy. That's my style of play. Doesn't mean if you said to me, oh, you didn't get Messi in your 11, but you got Ronaldo. And I go, oh, bloody hell, what? I've got a peak Ronaldo. Oh, God, shit.
I know. Yeah. But they do it the other way, Savva. So what they'll say is the Ronaldo fans, as I call them, or lovers, and that's no problem because he was unreal. they'll say, well, Messi didn't really do it anywhere, did he, really? It was only...
Yeah.
And I think, well, the guy's won the World Cup pretty much single-handedly when he was 35. You know, he's done unbelievable things for Barcelona, and he's obviously done work at PSG and still at Miami. They don't care about that. You know, as well, he didn't do it at Man United like Ronaldo. And well, Man United, when Ronaldo went back to Man United, and it weren't very good, was it? So, you know, we can both play that game. You know what I mean? Like,
and let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. What I love is when it's, I always find it a really simplistic debate. And what I mean by that is people go, no, but Messi never did it. So we reckon that peak Lionel Messi, that was destroying Premier League teams in the Champions League, we think that if he had played over here for Man U or Man City, or whoever was the best team,
would have gone wrong. Yeah.
we think that Lionel Messi would have gone, oh, he can't score or assist over it. What are we doing? What are we doing? I remember he played against you lot, and I think Wenger said it was like, he said it was like playing the PlayStation. He said Messi was that good. But
mate, he scored 4. Ronaldo never scored 4 against us. He destroyed us, by the way, but he never scored 4 against us. I saw Messi destroy us, bruv. Destroyed us in at a time where Arsenal actually weren't a laughable. You know what I mean? Where we were in like 2010-11 when we had Fabregas and Van Persie and Nasri, we were looking good, and everyone was saying Arsenal could go and win the Champions League, and we got them and we got absolutely destroyed. And Messi, and it ain't just Arsenal. Messi's done it against Chelsea, Man City, Man United, like you guys, everyone. Like, he's done it against everyone, man. I don't get this.
Yeah. But then you heard, oh, but would he do it at Stoke on a cold night? Yes.
I can't stand that. I can't stand that.
Can you imagine, right? I remember in the day, so it was I always think of it as the Ryan Shawcross era. Right? Ryan Shawcross era of Stoke. Can you imagine Lionel Messi? I don't know why. It was always a Tuesday night, wasn't it? It was always, could he do it on a wet Tuesday night?
Yeah.
Yes. Like, if Ryan Shawcross was asked to mark Lionel Messi for 90 minutes, I'm pretty sure Lionel Messi would get 4 or 5 goals and a few assists. I'm pretty sure of it. Like, but hey, it is what it is. Look, let's move on from last question. Are Arsenal winning the league? You probably get asked this too much, but yes or no, Dan? Are they winning it?
I do get asked this a lot. I think we're going to fall short because of the manager. I don't have the faith he can get us across the line. I hope I'm wrong, but I am going to still stick with Liverpool because I think once it clicks, I think they could go on and do some damage. So I do feel like we will fall short. It will be close though, Savva. It won't be like 15 points winning the league by. So I will go second again, unfortunately, and hope that I'm wrong. But that's what I'm going for. That's my prediction. I'm not going to change it because Liverpool have lost a couple of games. Because I think Arsenal will definitely drop some points as well. But I hope I'm wrong and we should win the league. There should be no excuses. I just don't have the confidence and conviction that he can get us across the line. So I'll go for second.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I've gone for Man City. I've just got this sneaky feeling. Apologies, guys. I needed every now and then I need a sugar fix badly, and I just felt it there. Sorry, I don't know why I'm apologising. I'm eating a bit of chocolate. I haven't done anything bad. Do you know what I mean? That's how YouTube makes me feel now. You get pulled up for everything. Yeah, I've gone for Man City purely because, listen, I actually don't think they're the best team in the league. I don't. But when Haaland's on form, I think Foden's slowly coming back to some sort of his best. Donnarumma for me makes a huge difference in that goal. I think he's an absolute beast. I might be wrong, but look, there's 3 points in it at the moment between City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. So I think it should be good fun. And Bournemouth up there as well. A little honourable mention for Bournemouth, who won't be up there later in the season, but what a good team they are.
There's a couple though, isn't there? There's a couple, Bournemouth, Everton, Palace. I fancy them to do well. I think they could all get like Conference League type places. I think they could all go for that, you know?
Yeah, I listen, I think the thing with Palace for me, I want to wait and see. And it's not that I don't rate Glasner. I think Glasner's a top manager. But I'm looking at the depth of their squad and then playing Europe. And I think that's going to be a killer. And straight away, the first game they've played in Europe, that's where their 19-game unbeaten run comes to an end. So we'll see. I think if they were just playing once a week, I'd fancy them right up there. But let's have a look away from Arsenal, Dan. My boys, my Tottenham Hotspur. Apparently, I'm not a Spurs fan, but I am. My Tottenham Hotspur. What do you make of it? Obviously, all change at Tottenham this summer. Won the Europa League. Everyone went, like all staff, medical team, manager, chairman's gone. What do you make of Tottenham Hotspur at the moment? And there was a fly that was just coming in my room, which is really pissing me off. And I was trying to ignore it, but it's there. What do you make of Spurs?
Okay, so we go back to the Ange Postecoglou scenario, which was laughable. That had to change, and we know why. And we laugh now at Forest, who are in an absolute mess and a shambles. What I will say is this. When you got rid of Ange, I didn't know who you were going to go for. I genuinely didn't know who you were going to get. And when you got Thomas Frank, I thought that was the best signing of the summer for me. That is a signing that I think will do well for Tottenham. That's a manager I think will do an excellent job. I don't think he'll go and win you unbelievable amounts of trophies and dominate England, but at the same time, I think he'll give you a style of football. You'll be well drilled, and I think he'll be very difficult to beat. And I think that's proven right so far. Mm-hmm. When I look at the signings that you made, I don't think you had an amazing summer. I've got to be honest. I thought Xavi Simons was a very good signing. I think if you play him in a 10, he'll come good. I love Kudus, and I wanted him at Arsenal. He was one that I wanted ahead of Noni Madueke. To be fair, Noni Madueke's done all right, but Kudus, I think, has been excellent. In fact, I think he's probably been one of the best right wingers in the league this season, to be fair. I don't know any other right winger he's done better than Salah. Saka's not been able to stay fit enough. And I can't really think of any other right wingers that come to mind that have been better than Kudus. So I think he's been excellent. Defensively, Tottenham looks so much better. And it was always because your style was an issue last season, not your players. So your back four was pretty good last season when it was fit. Yeah. But Ange Postecoglou was making it look shambolic because of his style, right? So when I look at Thomas Frank coming in, you've obviously got your players that have come in and done a job. I just don't know. And this is a crazy thing to say because you're the third highest goal scorers in the league. I just don't know that you've got that focal point where you can rely on goals. And I think you're going to have to rely on goals by committee this season. So you're going to have to, as much as you don't like these players, you're going to have to get goals from Odegaard, Tell and Johnson. You're going to have to get goals from Kudus. You're going to have to get goals from Xavi Simons. When Kulusevski comes back and Madison, if he does come back, they're going to have to get on the score sheet. I don't think you've got that one focal point up front. I'm not a fan of Richarlison, bruv. I know he scored a couple of goals. I just don't rate him. And Solanke...
You don't have to say that tentatively around me. I don't rate any of our strikers, Dan.
No, and Solanke, I think, has got games where I look and think, oh, he's done all right there. And in games where I think, has he touched the ball? He's a bit like that. In midfield, I think your best player so far, and probably your best signing, actually, alongside Kudus, has been Paulinho. I think he's been phenomenal for you, actually. I think he's been really, really good. And I know that he's not on the ball amazing, but off the ball, he's brilliant. And I think on the ball, he's actually been a hell of a lot better than I thought he was going to be. I think Sarr is quite an underrated performer, but I don't see enough consistency with him. I think Spence deserves a mention in the last 12 months, actually. I think he's been excellent for Tottenham. So you've got some really good players, but I don't know that you've got an amazing 11 and a brilliant squad yet. So I do have you floating. I mean, I don't have you anywhere near where you were last season because that was a manager problem and anomaly. But I do feel like you could be fighting for that top 6, Spurs. I don't see top 4 yet. I know that you have a good start. I think Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal will probably get the top 4.
I agree. I agree.
If
I've gone for 6, Dan, by the way. I'm with you.
I've gone for 6
I've gone for 6. And I think the difference is it's okay. When you said goals by committee. It's okay sharing these things round, but that doesn't last forever. There are games where you need that guy. There are games where you need your Isak, your Salah, your Haaland, and you need that guy when you're not playing well that goes, all right, I'll do something today. And I still don't think Spurs have got that. The one striker that you missed is obviously the elephant in the room that hasn't played. He's played like 11 minutes. Is Kolo Muani. None of us know how good he is. What's he going to do?
I don't mind that signing. Just quickly on that, I don't mind that signing. I think a lot of people are saying it's going to be a flop and it's going to be a shambles. He's a good player, mate, when you get him fit and firing. So I don't really know that there's a massive kind of assumption that he's going to be awful and all this. I don't think that he will. But I mean, look, he's not coming up against world beaters at the moment, is he? To go and try and get in the side. Let's be realistic about it.
Right.
He's not like, I'm not going to get ahead of Richarlison. Solanke's got 15 in 15. It's not like that, is it? So no. I think he can come in and do a job.
When fit, he should come in and start.
I agree. Yeah.
I just want to ask you about something. I'm only going to go for another 5, 6, 7 minutes. I want to ask you that. So Spurs have been linked in the last 48 hours quite heavily with Ivan Toney. Right? Okay. Now, this is an interesting one for me because first and foremost, I'm straight away going to look at the connection between Thomas Frank and Ivan Toney. Right? We know that he gets the best out of him. We know he can manage him. But where Spurs are at the moment, I don't look at any of our centre forwards and go, Cool. You're going to give a centre-back a really tough game. I look at Ivan Toney and I think you're a pain in the arse. I don't think he's the greatest striker I've ever seen. Let's not stop. You know what I mean? No revisionism here, but he will give centre halves that physical battle, the running behind, and he does get goals from his feet and in the air. Do you think that maybe a loan from Saudi in January, could that be a genius bit of business, or is there the attitude side of it where you go, oh, that's a real risk? What do you think about that?
No, I think it'd be a phenomenal signing, bruv. I think it'd be a phenomenal signing. I didn't know that you were linked with him. I had a conversation with someone a couple of days ago about bringing Toney back into the Premier League, and everybody says it's his attitude. Well, I've got to be brutally honest with you. I've not seen that. I've not heard that in Saudi. I didn't see it much at Brentford. And apparently, he's got this attitude where he's a bit of a diva, but aren't they all a bit like that? I think he would be a phenomenal signing. I don't think there's anything
wrong with it.
No.
A bit of swag?
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all.
No.
If it doesn't affect your performances, I couldn't give a damn, bruv. If I'm honest. You look at Dennis Rodman in NBA, like he was a nutter, but he used to turn up every single week and deliver. Who cared? Yeah. You know what I mean? They're all a bit like that, man. So I think Ivan Toney, for me, would be a phenomenal sign. I didn't know you were linked with him. He's clearly a starter. I mean, he's clearly better than what you've got. He's got the relationship with Thomas Frank. He's Premier League proven. I think he got 19 or 20 goals for Brentford. What can he do in this Tottenham Hotspur side? I think that would be a phenomenal signing, mate. Phenomenal.
And what he's got is he's got the one thing that none of our centre forwards can do. He's got hold up play.
Exactly that.
At the moment, whenever Spurs play football, it doesn't matter whether it's Tell, Richarlison, Solanke, whoever plays up top, the ball bounces back because none of them, their natural game isn't, the natural centre forward. Think back in the day, an Alan Smith or a Kevin Campbell, not the greatest technical footballers, but you knew they'd hold it up, bring others into play. We don't have that. So I think that Ivan Toney, for me, could be a bit of a game changer. 29 years of age, get him in on loan, possibly with an option to buy. I don't know. I just feel like that's a rumour that I would like to have legs in it.
That would be a brilliant signing, mate. He's a nuisance. You've said it. He causes havoc. He's a nuisance. He's horrible to play against. And I don't feel like any of your strikers are. So I think he'd be a huge upgrade. I think he walks straight into your side and I think he gets you goals. And I think Tottenham need that now. They need somebody who's going to be relied upon to get goals, not hope that they can all chip in a bit. It's great if they do. I mean, it'll be brilliant if all of your players do actually get sort of between 5 and 10 goals a season. You've got a great season in front of you, but you're going to have to rely on them all to do that, I think. And your midfield, I'm not sure is right yet. I think Paulini's excellent start, but I think that needs potentially more. And I've got to be honest, Deji said this on my show, and I kind of agreed with him. Vicario would give me a bit of nightmares as a Tottenham fan, if I'm honest. I like his shot stopping sometimes, but I think there's moments with his command of his area that worries me, where he flaps a little bit. But maybe he's not the big problem. He'll be watching more than me, but I will only watch highlights and I see from Vicario bits I like and bits I don't like. So I think you can definitely do better in certain areas, but Ivan Toney would be an unbelievable signing.
Mate, I last thing I'll say on Spurs. I've said this all along. I think Paulinho is a great signing. Number 6, definitely what we need. Spurs absolutely miss somebody that plays alongside him. Spurs absolutely miss a Zubimendi or a Rice or a Bruno Guimaraes. Even Gomez of Wolves, good tiny little footballer, wants the ball, gets on it. We don't have one like that. We've got a lot of runners. Bergval's a runner. Star's a runner. You know what I mean? We don't have that bloke that says, give me the ball, let me conduct, let me dictate. And listen, I think we're miles off top 4. People will go, listen, I'll say this. If Thomas Frank gets this squad top 4 playing Champions League and Premier League football, he's a genius. I think if he gets this squad top 4 with these strikers, with no real left winger and with no real ball playing number 8, the guy deserves a statue outside the Spurs stadium.
Yeah.
So I'll take 6th.
What's your expectation though this season, like as a Tottenham fan?
6th, and give a good account of ourselves in the trophies.
Yeah.
Listen, I know we can all have that. Well, if you don't win a trophy, it's been a shit year, but that means that 99% of football clubs have a shit year if you go by that theory. So it's very difficult. Look, I just wanted to see him come in and actually put some credit back in the bank for Spurs fans, that people aren't looking at us and laughing every week. A lot of this depends on January. Go out and get Toney and Semenyo. Why not top 4? But at the moment, I don't see it. So, look, Dan, I'm just going to do a couple of super chats and then I'm going to leave it there because I said I wanted to keep them to an hour for playback. But big up to D&B Forever. Really appreciate you, my man. Very, very generous of you indeed. Always with the super stickers. Chew, bloody chew. Thank you very much, my man. The super sticker train. Thank you very much. And Chubby Funster, very generous with a super chat. Said, AFC fan, world class is being an international standard of excellence. Top 3 worldwide in your position, then you're world class. I'd say Rice is very close to that metric, but not quite there just yet. Look, Chubby, each to their own. I don't go with that. Because by this metric, you're saying there are 33 world-class players. I don't think there are 33 world-class footballers in 2025. I really, really don't. I would struggle after about 6, if I'm brutally honest.
Yeah.
That's just me. So big up to you. Really appreciate that. Definition is to each person, right? Dan, everyone knows where they can find you. When are you next live? What's the next live you got going on for people, man?
Well, big up. I appreciate coming on. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for being so kind in the chat as well, legends. And make sure you hit like and subscribe on this one. I'll be at 7 o'clock tonight for an Arsenal show on Football's 12th Man. I've got some good guests coming on. So if you can come and show some love over there, that'd be great. And even if you're a Tottenham fan, you might enjoy it because it normally gets heated and banter and debatable. So go and have some fun over there if you're a Tottenham fan as well. But yeah, Football's 12th Man on the road to 6-0, mate. So thank you very much, Savva.
No, listen, really appreciate it. Listen, get over to Dan. Let me just see who's live right now, so we can send you over to somewhere because I think that's the nice thing to do. And let me just see who I've got sorted out. I should have done this. See, this is the thing, Dan. He's big time. He's got you've got an editor that does this for you, not me, mate. I have to do all these things myself as a lowly little YouTuber. Right. Redirect. Let's see who's live. I'm going to send you over. It's only Never a Foul who are live that I can see at the moment. I'll send you over to Never a Foul. When you get there, please just say Savva Raid. Thank you very much. Take care. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.